Welcome to CEO Money. I'm Michael Yorba. Thanks for joining us. All right, I have Asger Folmann, crypto investor, influencer, and actor. In it for the money. Love the name, Asger. Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. All right, tell us about In It for the Money, and then I want to get into all the questions I've got for you.
Well, In It for the Money is several things. It's a YouTube channel that I run, and I really focus on the investment aspects of crypto. I feel like many people join the hype train in regards to the technology and the promises it holds, and I do see a lot of promising potential here, but I really think the real potential for you and I right now is the investment aspect of it. That's also why I publish a monthly quote-unquote investment report, the Folmann Report, where I basically search for micro-cap cryptos with a high potential.
Tell me about how you go about evaluating the crypto investments.
Well, I dare say my strategy has changed a little bit over the time. But so I look at the company fundamentals, for instance, but I would actually say number one is probably the token metrics or the token economy. Does this, if it's a utility token, is it realistic to anticipate a supply and demand situation where demand is big enough for the economy of this token ecosystem to keep growing over and over again?
Okay. Tell me about the aspects of blockchain technology. What excites you the most?
Well, this is a cliche, but the aspect of decentralization does to some degree excite me. But that being said, many of these new crypto companies use we can call it democratic sort of decentralized decision-making processes, and I'm not always a huge fan of that, because running a huge business isn't always, the crowd is not always the most qualified to make important business decisions regarding the crypto company. But that is actually something that some companies utilize with voting, et cetera.
Okay. You've obviously run across several types of investments. Is there anything that sticks out in your mind that you thought, now this is a great disruptive technology, product, person, process? Bring that out for me.
There has been a few. There's been more than a few actually, but I will say this though. Sometimes I come across projects. Neo could be an example of this. Known as the Chinese Ethereum sometimes. I missed the train on that one, sort of. But once you really fully realize that this is actually something that is being perceived in China, at least the Asian continent, as Ethereum is being perceived here in the US, in the Western Hemisphere, then the potential starts to sink in. That's just one example. I could probably mention you a lot of others. So that's the thing. That's another interesting aspect of this whole sphere, William, is that I could mention one of these micro-cap companies that I've found over the months, but it's really tricky. It's such a tricky situation for me because market manipulation happens all the time, and even the fact that I talk about a specific crypto investment can and does sometimes affect the charts.
Oh yes, I can see that. That's definitely more prevalent in this industry than it is, say, in your regular fiat investment industry, because it's so prolific. But the people in the crypto industry, or using crypto as a form of investment, are more proactive to move in groups and hives and be able to actually move markets faster because of the thinness of the marketplace. Give me your concept moving forward, getting into a conversation with each other, where you see this all going. What do you see happening next in the process of the evolution of crypto investments, crypto wallets, ICOs, and whether it's a utility or it's a security token? How do you see all of this moving forward and evolving?
Well, first of all, I see some legislation coming.
Yeah.
There's been some talk about, I was actually just preparing a video on this, about the launch of several Bitcoin ETFs. And there is a wide belief on Wall Street that this will bring, Wall Street money, institutional money, into crypto at a scale that we have previously not seen. And I actually think that is true. I recently did some research also on over-the-counter trading. Turns out that's happening on a huge scale in the case of Bitcoin. So that's one of the challenges that we need to solve that somehow, because we really can't. So what basically happens is that some of these crypto exchanges, they pair buyers of someone looking to purchase, say, 2 billion worth of Bitcoin, and someone who's been holding Bitcoin, maybe the guy with the pizzeria who sold the pizza for 10,000 Bitcoin 7 or 8 years ago or something like that. But they pair these people, and then this just happens over the counter or really under the table. So we need legislation to stop that, basically. And I love that, because that ties in with the aspect of decentralization that is so often hailed as the most disruptive and fantastic thing, as an innovation almost. But it goes to demonstrate I am for decentralization, at least in a philosophical and political sense. But when it comes to a global trade system like this, we need global legislation. We simply need it.
Do you see that we're going to operate in the fashion that we are for, the next 2-3 years, or are the legislators going to be able to catch up to where the technology is going, and within the next year or two?
I think they are. I don't think we're going to have to wait that long for it to happen. How that's going to affect the markets, obviously, I think the top 10, 20, maybe even top 50 cryptocurrencies might stabilize a little more, or probably a lot more. There's going to be less volatility. It'll still be extremely volatile compared to the traditional financial markets. But I think we will see a stabilization. What will happen to all the other altcoins? That's up in the air right now. It's really exciting. There are, of course, one big challenge with most of these cryptocurrencies, and that is a very low trading volume. But then again, we see inventors coming out with these trading algorithms, or bots, as they're called in pop culture. but these bots are actually able to create a fake volume. And that's not exclusively a bad thing, because it does create a more stable investment environment.
So you're describing high-frequency trading used by some of the major investment banks because of some of the the retail investors have pulled back. They've gotten their head handed to them. They pulled back, and then Goldman Sachs, J.P. Morgan, those types of banks had to invent those to keep to keep the liquidity going, so they could actually move in and out for their clients. Are you saying that's where we're going with the ICOs and the cryptocurrencies?
Yeah, I think it is.
Yeah.
That's a very simple way of putting it, but I really do. I will say this, though, that you're spot on with the development of why Wall Street launched these features, or had to do it, as you put it. But we are seeing a couple of decentralized, again, crypto companies that just consists of some young, extremely skilled developers and programmers. And these people actually do have the skills to give the same tools, more or less, as Wall Street have been using. I'm advising a company called Autonio. They've invented tools like this, and their mission is to, I'm not shilling here, but I'm just saying, but their mission is to give you and I, to give the average Joe investor, whoever that is, the same tools, the same technical tools as the Wall Street traders currently have. So that's going to create a really interesting dynamic where not only Wall Street has these tools, but potentially everyone.
I agree. All right, let's continue the conversation. You're going to come across these companies again and again, and I'd like to be able to see if you can introduce them to us, and we can do the interview together with these people as we move forward.
Absolutely.
All right, Asger, it's been a pleasure having you on the show. I know we'll talk to each other again real soon.
All right, thanks for having me. Take care.
My pleasure. All right, you've been watching CEO Money with Michael Yorba. Don't forget to follow us on Facebook and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thanks for watching.